So friends, what I would like to do is quickly go through the queries which have been raised. Unfortunately, there is no query on Moodle, but there are 3 queries which have come through email. One is by Shastra University, and the other is by RC 1319, Mukesh Patel School of Technology in Mumbai, and the third one is from RVR and JC College of Engineering, Guntur, which is a new institute which is joining us. So I will connect to these 3 in sequence. I'll first go over to Shastra University. Hello, good afternoon.
Sir, I am
Welcome.
Muruganandapuram.
Yes,
Good
I can
afternoon,
hear
sir.
you.
I am Muruganandapuram Shastra University.
Yes, welcome.
Thanks, sir.
Good afternoon. Is Professor Naren there?
He's coming, sir.
All
He's
right.
coming.
We'll come back to you after interacting with the other 2 remote centers.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Which are the other? I'm trying to go over to 1319 now. Mukesh Patel School of Technology. Yes, over to you, Mukesh Patel Institute. Where is their query?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. I'm Vinny Khanna. I'm the coordinator here for MOOC, blended MOOC. We had a couple of queries. The first was we have a couple of visiting faculties which would be taking the course, the theory for the computer programming. So can we enroll them as well for the course?
Yeah, that is a question which has put us into some dilemma, because all these workshops we run only for regular teachers of the institutions, as you know. However, considering their importance, we have decided as follows. We will enroll them in the Moodle. We will also enroll them in the BW CS 101, that is BMW, that is the workshop. So they will be able to follow everything that is going on in the Moodle and in the workshop. They will be able to participate in the discussion sessions on both forums. However, 2 things we cannot permit. One is they will not be eligible for a IST certificate at the end of the workshop.
Okay.
Because we cannot, under our agreement with IST, we can give certificates only to regular faculty members of an institution.
Okay.
Right. So that is one thing that you may have to kindly inform them, that giving a certification will not be possible. Yeah. Of course, I will personally at the end acknowledge their contributions. Secondly, the interface that we give for students' information upload and for monitoring of their performance can be given only to the regular faculty members of an institution, because legally only a regular faculty member of an institution is empowered, okay, to look at the information which is essentially personal information about the performance, and also to submit the final grade. So even here, for example, in IIT, in our School of Management, when there is a visiting faculty member who engages people for giving lectures or something, there is always a regular faculty member of IIT who is technically the in charge. Of course, almost all the work is done by the visiting faculty, but technically that is the position here. I suppose that will be the position everywhere else. Now, given that, since this is a MOOCs kind of thing where we are extending access, we do not want to get into legal problem anytime later, and we do not want you to get into any legal problem later. So this is an issue. Please, think about. Please tell me what is your opinion on these and how we could go ahead. I respect all those visiting faculty members because they would do an important job. However, recognizing them technically as teachers of a course, as officials from your institution, is not very easy for us to do at this stage. I hope you appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Okay. Another query that we had is about the students, the kind of sessions which would be delivered for the students when they enroll.
Right.
So is it like sessions like interactive sessions would be there for students, or is it that they will be able to see these interactions offline? So that thing we wanted clear, that if the students enroll for this course, will they also be part of the interactive session?
Okay,
Or
so
how we go about it?
let me explain this through a small write-up, because that is what other people will also be see. This is the one. So let me write down for your benefit the hierarchy and where who will participate, so that you will appreciate that better. Sorry. So let me first write down the course that we are talking about, namely CS 101X, right? That's what we 101.1x. Okay. Now you will notice that all the learners who study that CS 101.1x can access this course either from the cloud. These are other learners across the country, and these are students from Institute 1, Institute 2, Institute 3, etc., etc. Now these are the people who will benefit from the interaction with the online platform IIT Bombay X. For all of them, ordinarily there is no audio visual interaction face to face. This is the normal behavior of the MOOCs. Now for the participating institutions that we have here, Institute 1, Institute 2, Institute 3, etc., etc., please note that these people also participate in another interaction with us, which is through the course Moodle. And which is also through an interaction of a course which we call BMW CS 101X. Please note that this workshop course is actually housed on this. So let me draw it here. This particular blended MOOCs workshop is not available to all learners. It is available only to the institute teachers. Teachers of participating institutes. So that is why I have shown here that they interact with this BMW CS 101.1x. Now this is where even your visiting faculty, we will permit them this access. Please note that you have to send us the visiting faculty email IDs very quickly. They also have to register on the NMEICT website, and they will be given access to the course Moodle, and they will be given access to this workshop. Now let us see what is the difference between this workshop course and CS 101X course.
Okay, sir.
CS 101X course is actually one which is taken by all the students, that is the live course. In that course, content will be released topic wise. So for example, if you notice, the first title will be released there, which is the introductory part. On the BMW workshop course, what we have done is the previous content of an archived course, which essentially has all the modules on all the topics of the course that we have run, and which will essentially be repeating in CS 101.1x, have been put together so that the participating teachers can see in advance all the topics and the coverage generally that will happen in the main course. I hope you get that. Now, I just realized that all our teachers, as far as IIT Bombay X is concerned, they will be looking only at BMW CS 101.1X. Now, apart from putting the archived course of the previous offering, which as I said contains all topics that will be covered in this course or which were covered in the past, in addition, we will also duplicate whatever material we release on CS 101.1X, we will duplicate it here also, and this we will start doing from tomorrow, so that the teachers who are working on this blended MOOCs workshop here, please remember by the way that you have to register on Moodle and register on the, you will be automatically invited to register on the BMW CS 101X course. You have to register for IIT Bombay X, but you will be enrolled for this workshop automatically. I see a discrepancy there because out of 140 teachers, yet many have to register even on the Moodle. So, I request that everybody should register very quickly and confirm their Moodle registration. Now, I come back to what our participating institute teachers will be able to see. They will be, since they will be invited to register for this BMW course, these teachers will be able to see this on a daily basis. I mean, it's like a almost online course for them. Let me repeat what this course will contain. Number one, it contains the archived material of the past course that was delivered in full. Roughly, those will be the contents for different topics that will be released in CS 101.1X in the coming semester, topic by topic. Please also note that there may be some changes as we release this material, but since we have agreed that as we release in CS 101.1X, we will also release those under the general title current course offering, and we will replicate that in this course also. Therefore, the participating teachers will be able to see both. Number one, what is the overall material that is going to be covered in this course by looking at the archived courses. These will contain practice problems, etc., etc., past quizzes which were conducted, which will now become practice problems for this offering. They will be able to see all of this. Your students, however, will be able to see only CS 101.1X, and they will be able to see it progressively as different modules are released. I am requesting Nagesh to discuss this with other colleagues and do exactly the same thing for the blended MOOC workshop course, so that progressively you can see that. I hope this answers your question. Let's get back to you.
Yes, sir. Other thing that we wanted to know that when we enroll our students for this course, how will the assessment for them conducted? I mean, with that, will that be module wise?
Yes.
Or will that be a weekly assessment or a fortnightly? So, can you just discuss a bit about that?
Sorry, can you please ask the question again?
Sure. Sir, it was about the assessment for students. When the students enroll for the course,
Okay.
how they would be assessed? I mean, the quizzes will be
Yeah.
module wise?
Now I
or
realize the
will it
mistake
be-
that we made. Right now what I have told you, that we will be releasing the material that we have released on CS 101X also on the BMW course. When we do that, you will find that in actual CS 101X, we have given the complete semester long schedule of what topic will be released when, what quiz will be conducted when, etc., etc. Today itself we will put up this schedule in the BMW course when we synchronize it with whatever we have offered. Additionally, I will request my colleagues to put it on the Moodle as well, so that you will be able to see the schedule on the Moodle. Now, as far as interaction is concerned, please note that the interaction is primarily meant as a face-to-face part of the IST workshop, in which all the teachers of these 40 institutions are participating, like you. Now, these interactions are supposed to happen every Tuesday, and this decision was taken because it was agreed that we shall be release our quizzes on Tuesday, typically at 4 o'clock, so that if students, you need to supervise the online examinations, you can all do that between say 4 PM to 5 PM, so that you can take the grades without any problem if you so wish. Otherwise, you can permit them to do quizzes on their own also. But Tuesday being the date of
Okay.
release of this, we had said that Tuesday 2:30 will also be the time of our interaction. Ordinarily, the interaction with faculty will be only for 1 hour duration on alternate Tuesdays. So, every fortnightly interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we had also said
Okay.
is that if some institutions desire, then immediately after completion of this 1 hour interaction with the participating faculty in the training workshop, they can also permit students to attend, those students who are registered from your college for that course. And we could have a 1 or 1.5 hour interactive session with the students of all 40 participating institutions using the same AVU connectivity. So, that is an additional
Okay.
thing which is not part of the workshop, but it is part of the blended MOOCs operation. Namely, out of whatever 1 lakh students who might register for the entire course, suppose there are 8,000 students who are registered from these 40 colleges. Now, what we would like to do is extend the facility of face-to-face interaction to these 8,000 students if their colleges so wish. So, if you want
Yeah.
your students to interact with us and with others, then you can arrange this AVU session in a classroom, in a lab, and ask them to attend the moment we announce a timetable for that interaction with students. Currently, there is nothing planned, but I think the 2 weeks later we may plan it. The reason is that
Okay.
in many colleges, first year courses have not yet started, and that is another thing I would like to ask you, what is the date on which your first lecture will be held and when first year students will join? Do you have any tentative date?
Sir, actually, if you talk about BTech first year, we've already started with it. Starting tomorrow, today only we've started with the semester for first year courses.
Oh, how did you complete the admissions? I am just curious.
So it was done way back in during vacations only.
Oh, I see. So, you are a unique institution which is starting the first year course early enough. Well, IIT courses will also start next week, but I think you are starting earlier. So, you had your semester starting already?
Yes, sir. Today only we've started with it.
Okay. So, when will you be able to collect the email IDs of all the students, advise them to register on IIT Bombay X and enroll for CS 101X and give us this information?
Yes, sir, by this weekend, actually, that is the reason I have so many questions, because by this weekend we are planning to take a decision about the enrollment of students and everything.
Right.
So we have to discuss with our head of the department and the dean.
Right.
So that's the reason so many questions are there.
Yeah, so absolutely no problem. I hope I have answered your questions. The moment you upload the file
Yeah.
of your students, then
Mm-hmm.
you will be, first of all, you will be able to use that dashboard, for which will give you the write-up and all on the workshop Moodle as well, where you can see that suppose you send us a list of 100 students, how many of those 100 have actually registered and enrolled for CS 101 or not, that you will be able to confirm. And then as and when the quizzes are conducted for the online course, you will be able to see and download the performance of your students using the same dashboard.
Okay.
Yeah. So that,
Okay. So one more query.
yeah, please.
Sorry. Yeah. Is it that we have to enroll, or we have to do the entire course for the students, or is it okay if we can just offer a couple of modules for the students to be done?
Okay. Your question is in two parts. I think the part that you are referring to relates to which portion of assessment online you want to factor into your grade. And for that you might want
Yes,
to
sir.
choose the topics. The second is which
Yes.
portion of the topics you want to experiment with a new pedagogy of flipped classroom, etc., for which you can be selective.
Absolutely.
But as far as the
Absolutely, sir,
yeah,
yes.
but as far as the online course is concerned, the online course has to be registered for by all students, and they are normally expected to do that course independently for their own benefit. it does not matter whether they complete that course or do not complete that course, it is up to them. If they complete it, then other than whatever you cover in that subject in your college, they might learn something independently or something differently, but that is their choice. The point is they have to enroll for CS 101.1x, and like a normal learner of CS 101.1x, every student will be expected to give all quizzes, submissions, etc. for that course. Please tell them that it is their choice to complete it or not, but only when they successfully complete the online course, they will be entitled to get the honor code certificate from IIT Bombay X for completing that course.
Okay.
So that certificate criteria is identical for all 1 lakh learners across the country, whether they are from your institute or from somewhere else. Now, as far as your institute is concerned, like any autonomous institution, you are fully at liberty to suggest to your students that these are the topics on which we wish to engage you, let us say in a flipped classroom, or these are the topics on which when online quizzes are conducted, then we will be factoring your marks in these quizzes, etc. It is all up to you.
Yes.
The entire performance of all 100 students in all the online assessments will be available to you, downloadable. You can pick and choose.
Okay, sir.
However, we would like you to take this decision in advance and announce it to both the students and communicate to us.
Okay, sir.
Because you agree that you can't change the goalpost after the game starts. That is the reason why I want your teachers and in fact all other teachers to look at the archived course contents. And if you look at the archived course contents on the BMW CS 101.1x, you will get to see what are the topics and how we are covering them, and the general nature of quizzes that were conducted in the past offering. And you can take a decision. You can take 1 week or maybe 10 days or whatever you want to do, but this decision will have to be conveyed to us that these are the marks that you wish to factor. Now, just as we will be giving you marks of all the students in online assessment, we would expect you at the end to give us marks of the students obtained by them in your own local assessments.
Okay.
So that this is not for displaying or anything, the confidentiality will be maintained, but you agree that we would like to do a statistical study how the performance of the students in internal assessment, the local assessment matches with the performance of the same students on online assessment. To draw conclusions like whether our online assessments are meaningful, are they very heavy, are they very light, and we will be able to compare this with the performance of other students that will get online. But I will write a separate note for that, that does not concern us now at all.
Okay, sir. Sure. Last query that I have is, sir, because like there are right now 9 faculties who have enrolled for the CS 101 course, but for the interactive session, all might not be present because they have their own schedules, they have their own timetable. So, how we can make a point that they'll be able to see the interaction, or so is that we'll be uploading, you'll be uploading videos online of each interaction that they can see later on?
So let me explain, Binny. What you are saying is you have problems of scheduling with just 9 teachers in your institution. Now look at 40 institutions across the country and look at every place. In fact, that's the tragedy in this country, that we cannot synchronize any timetable of activity save some special lectures given on Saturday or Sunday or something like that. Now the reason we have agreed on Tuesday is because Tuesday was by common agreement a date for conducting common quiz. First of all, I would like to tell you that talk to your program coordinator. In case you are not supervising the online assessment, there is no issue. Then let students do the online assessments at their homes or wherever they do normally, that is okay. But in case you wish to supervise online assessments, then you will have to get all the students and all the teachers at say 4 p.m. in their labs on Tuesday. So that means some coordination locally will be required, at least on the days when the quizzes are given. Once you see the detailed timetable for the semester, you will know that and you can take your call. as far as this interaction is concerned, they can come and go at their choice. That is absolutely their problem. But as long as they do participate in this face-to-face session sometime or the other. Now you can decide at what time they will be able to come. This is a slightly longish session. In all other days, there will be only exactly 1 hour session with the teachers, and that session is important because IST workshop requires that there should be face-to-face sessions of certain duration in the entire workshop. Otherwise, we cannot give that certificate. More important than that, questions such as what you have raised are relevant to all other teachers also, and that discussion helps. However, in case some teacher is unable to participate on some day, we would expect that teacher to visualize the recorded videos which we will keep in our Moodle. We will provide a link, and maybe we can upload it on YouTube and keep the link even in the BMW workshop for the teachers. We can do that under a separate section, but as whosoever is the coordinator of this course must ensure that every teacher actually looks at that interaction, because that is what is important. What happens is, if I am a teacher in your college and I have another schedule, therefore I am unable to attend this, please note that I am also a busy man. So later on there may not be too much incentive for me to go back and see that interaction fully, particularly if all the discussion does not pertain to me. See, why do you think a classroom is important? All 100 students, do you think for each student everything that is spoken in every minute is important? No, but that is a discipline. We want all 100 students to listen to whatever goes on in the class. Overall impact is like the class listening to the lecture. So that is all I will say. There is no compulsion here, and we will keep the recorded things in the Moodle or whatever.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Fine. I hope this answers your question. Let me go over to the new institution that we have, but we do not have their sorry? Student. No, student. What is the RCID? STUDENT. Okay, I will go over to RVN JC College. Is a new institution. Oh. Yeah, you are not publishing your video, so please publish your video. Let me go back to the Shastra Institute. What is the Shastra code? 131140. Yeah, over to you, Shastra University. Is President Naren here?
Sir, he is coming, sir. He's having class now, that's why he's late.
Oh, I see. What time will the class end?
I think he available at
3:30 or so?
within 10 minutes he will be here, sir.
Yeah, so
Within-
I will get back to you at 3:35. Meanwhile, let me go over to the other
Thank you, sir.
institutions. Right.
Thank you.
So there is a question mark raised by NIT Manipur. Over to you, NIT Manipur.
We are from NIT Manipur. I am Dr. Mahmood Sunil Singh, the program coordinator of this Pandit Modes.
Good afternoon. Yeah, so do you have any questions, because there was a hand raised from NIT Manipur. Professor Singh?
Regarding the evaluation of the students,
Yes.
I have found in some previous documents that the evaluation amount, how much mark distribution shall it be? We have some discrepancy.
Yeah.
I mean, confusion regarding that.
Yeah. So let me explain that through another Professor, I will look at the evaluation scheme and elaborate it on a piece of paper so that it will remain on record, so that you can also see that. For the students of the institution, so let us say there is one institute I from which the students are participating in this course. Now there are two things: taught and assessed within the institute. Now this is your standard face-to-face interaction, and you might have certain number of quizzes or mid-sem exam or assignments, etc. Now this is how you currently evaluate students and give them a grade in the course, either a grade or marks. Now additionally, these students will also be doing, let us say, CS 101.1x. Now this course is online, and in this course there are again some quizzes, exams, whatever. Now imagine that a student who is being taught by you here does all the quizzes and assignments, and let us say they equal 100 marks. Imagine the same student also completes all the online quizzes and exams, and he gets score out of 100 marks. All that we are saying is, you will announce to your students that in the grade that they will get here, their final grade will come from both these marks, and they will get a certain percentage, X% from these 100 marks and Y% from these 100 marks, such that X plus Y is equal to 100. And this will be the final grade of the student, your grade. So that means you will tell your students that, look friends, I will be conducting some exams, but your final course grade will depend upon the marks that you get in these, also marks that you get in these. Together, that is the nature of the blend. Now we have realized one thing, that there may be certain topics which are covered in CS 101.1x, which may not be completely relevant for the topics that you teach here to your students. You may therefore want to say that I will take this Y percentage from the these 100 marks, not for all 100 marks, but I will take, let us say, marks in quiz 5, quiz 7, quiz 9. Let us say I will take only marks of these three. Now these marks may come to say 30 marks or 20 marks depending upon the marks in individual quizzes, and you can decide how to factor this total into your final grade. This is your choice. The point is, you have to make this choice before the course begins, and you have to tell your students that, look, this is how you will get the final grade, because the students should know in advance how much time they should spend on doing the online work. Please note, however, that online course is an independent course, which, as I mentioned to our other friend, that this is being done by a lakh of students across the country, and if they want an honors code certificate from IIT Bombay X, they will get it only when they successfully complete the 100 mark course. But as far as the blend is concerned, it is entirely your decision. I hope that clarifies the thing. Let me get back to you and
Okay, sir, it was good explanation, but still regarding that X and Y distribution, is there any limit, particular
yes,
limit?
Yes. So, if you read the documentation of the minutes of the meeting and my earlier material which I had circulated to all, have we put it on the Moodle? Okay, I would request you and your colleague teachers also to read that entire set of PDF files. When we discussed this blended model, what had emerged as an agreement is that every institution will give at least 20% weightage to online marks and at most 80% weightage. And I will also tell you the reasoning for this. If you give 100% weightage to online score, then your students will not be taking care of the local assignments at all, because they know that there are no marks counted. Similarly, if you give all 100% weightage to only your marks, then they will not give any attention to the online course. So, we had tentatively agreed that the percentage should be between 20 to 80 for these parts, but the exact choice is entirely left to every participating institution. So, some institutions are deciding 50%, some are deciding 20%, some are deciding 30%, some are going through the different syllabus topics and are saying that we will take only marks of this topic quiz or something like that. This is entirely your choice. The total weightage that has to be decided is entirely by you, and the only thing is, it is not sacrosanct. For example, suppose Manipur decides that we do not want to keep 20% weightage to online thing, we want to give only 15% weightage. Sky will not fall. Only thing is, you have to send us a explicit number that you are taking 15%, and you have to tell us why you are doing so, why you are reluctant to allocate 20% marks. The point is that we will take all such feedback and improve the blended model for the whole nation next year. So, we
Won't be like that.
yeah. So, we do respect the autonomy of every participating institution. The whole idea in the blended MOOCs is that students should benefit both from face-to-face teaching that you do in your college and from online learning. And one way of ensuring that they benefit from both is to say that some percentage of your assessment will be done locally and some percentage of your assessment will be done online. That is the objective. Is that okay, Prasing?
Yes, sir. I hope I'm here and I have my colleagues are also here. And one more thing I would like to know, sir. While the online class between the student and the faculty from IIT Bombay is going on, what exactly will be the role of the faculty here?
When the online interaction is
beside them, or
yeah, when the online interaction happens, the online interaction, as I just mentioned, is primarily meant for the participating teachers to ask questions related to running of the blended MOOCs, how to run the flipped classroom or share their experiences, etc. But if you are talking about interaction with students, when students come here, during that 1 hour of discussion, if some student wants to ask a question to IIT Bombay faculty, the facilitation will have to be done by the local faculty colleagues who are in charge of that course. So, for example, if our lady is going to teach one batch, or if we would expect one of the teachers to be present during that interaction, so sometimes what happens, the student is not able to articulate a question very clearly. Now, the teacher can help saying this is what the student means. Secondly, the presence of the teacher will also mean that suppose several students do not attend that interactive session, then our teachers can go back and in their regular lecture can illustrate that point for the benefit of all the students, that this was a question that was asked not only by our students here, but some student in Chennai, some students in Coimbatore. This was important question which we had not discussed. So, let me describe what was the question asked and what was the answer given. Do you hope that this will benefit?
Yeah, I hope so.
Right. I hope so too. Fine. Thank you so much. There is another question mark from the BMS College of Engineering. Let me start interaction with them.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Good afternoon.
Professor, we have a question or two here.
Yeah.
The first question is, we are planning to implement lab component along with the theory component.
Huh.
Could you just suggest us some idea on this?
What we could do, it's an interesting question because every programming course has associated labs. I do not know how we can help. Nagesh, is it possible for us to collect all our lab handouts that we conduct for CS 101 here and put them together and put them on the Moodle or in the workshop course? What we can do, Professor, is that we will collect, give us about a week or so, we will collect all the previous lab and tutorial sheets that we have given to our own students, and we will put all of those lab sheets for your benefit on the Moodle as well as on the BMW workshop. Perhaps that should be useful.
Yeah, thank you, Professor.
Yeah.
One more question is, the student will be undergoing this course. Will he get a certificate at the end of the course?
Yes, as I mentioned, if the student completes the CS 101X course successfully on IIT Bombay X, all students who complete the course successfully are eligible to get an honor course certificate from IIT Bombay X. That is independent of whether that student is participating in the blended MOOCs or not. If the student is participating in the blended MOOCs through institutions such as yours, that he or she will still get the honor course certificate if they complete that entire course on the IIT Bombay X. Additionally, they will get a component of that assessment reflected in their normal grade in BMS college.
One more thing is, I was just going through the PDF which is uploaded on Moodle. Could you just elaborate on re-exam kind of criteria what you have put there?
Yeah.
Re-exam.
Ordinarily, on a MOOCs course, there is no re-examination. So, if a student fails, the student simply registers again whenever that course is offered again. Now, if there is a regular student of one of the institutions such as yours, that student cannot afford to wait for a new offering from the MOOCs. There are two possibilities in which a participating institute can handle it. Either the participating institute itself can give a 100 marks re-examination for the entire course as you would normally be doing for your students. Alternately, we had proposed that if several institutions are interested, then after completion of the online end semester examination, we will conduct another online end semester examination, a second examination, which can be treated by participating institutions as a supplementary exam if you so wish, but that is entirely optional for your benefit. I would like to know your opinion whether this makes sense.
Definitely, 100%. One more thing is, say we have all sets of students in the class. They assume one or two students who might not complete course, so or might not take up the quizzes. So what kind of options that we have to take in that case?
That is entirely up to you. If you have announced that they have to give so many quizzes strictly online, and if those quizzes they don't attend and get 0 marks, technically they should get 0 marks counted towards their grade. But as happens in real life, if there is an exception, for example, a student falls ill for let us say 4 weeks and student is unable to do anything. Now what we would do in our normal college days is, when that student comes, we will give that student an extra examination, an extra quiz or something, or a makeup test. I would suggest that such exceptional cases should be dealt with locally by you. What you can say is that these are the students who were unable to give the online quizzes. We had decided to factor so much percentage of marks from online quizzes. These 3 or 4 students have failed to acquire the minimum marks, and for them we are arranging a local test of similar complexity, and we will take those marks into account. please note that what marks constitute the grade of your student in your college is entirely up to you. MOOCs is merely one facilitator. I hope that that is a, I am reacting online almost, but I hope this is correct position.
One more important thing is our semester starts from August 5th and it ends on November 25th. So the first date of instruction will be on August 5th. So as far as I have understood, our first objective would be to get into the classroom, give instructions to the students, collect the details of the students and upload it to IIT Bombay.
Right.
So you will be sending all the links to the students for registration. Once they register, then weekly courses will be or it will be given to the students. They are supposed to go through that, and we are supposed to interact online with the students inside the classroom. So, am I right, Professor?
Yes, with a small modification. Number one, when you advise your students to register for IIT Bombay X, no links will be sent to them. They have to do it on their own using their normal email ID that they use. We hope that if many do not have an email ID, your college will be giving them some email ID, but whatever email ID they choose, they should register on IIT Bombay X and also enroll for CS 101X. They may take 2-3 days to do so, after which they are required to submit their email ID and public username to the teacher of CS 101 in your class. And it is these pieces of information that you will collect and upload on the link that we will give. If the students, if your course starts from 5th of August, there are many of our sister institutions where the course is starting on 1st August or 2nd August. Some places it is starting on 27th July. What we have done deliberately is that we have expanded the topics of CS 101X such that in the initial portion there is very little coverage. Some background coverage and first topic is covered, and no quiz is conducted before the, I think, 13th August or even beyond that for the first year course. So even students joining as late as 5th or 6th will not miss much, but since your students will be joining slightly later than others, please tell them that you should do this enrollment registration business within 1 day, and immediately within the next 2 days you should inform us so that we can put everything as quickly as possible.
Thank you.
Secondly,
Thanks a lot.
the detailed schedule of the topics, release of those topics on CS 101X, and also the schedule for quizzes and online assessments we have already uploaded on CS 101X, but since that is not accessible to colleague teachers, as I explained some time ago, we will be putting up that schedule in the BMW course as well on IIT Bombay X and also on the Moodle, so that you can quickly look at that schedule and decide whether any tweaking is required.
Right, Professor. That's it, Professor. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. There is another hand raised by NIT Rourkela. Let me go over to NIT Rourkela. Good afternoon, over to you. I see Suchismita. Hello. Your audio is not working. Audio is not working. I will request that the audio be checked and then we can come back to you after some time rather than other people are waiting. So, I will get back to you after some time. Let me go over to MEFCO Schlenk Engineering College. Over to you, MEFCO Schlenk.
Sir,
Good afternoon.
This for this course, how the students can register, sir? They can directly go to that IIT Bombay X,
Yes.
or
In fact, that is the
that
only way
website
to
it-
that is the only way to register. Any learner across the country who wants to study an online course has to do two things. First, he or she has to register on IIT Bombay X, giving all the details about the public username, PIN code, etc., etc. Then he or she will get a confirmatory email saying, is that email yours? And once that student confirms, then the student will be registered. The student is registered on IIT Bombay X generically. Now the student will have to enroll for one or more specific courses that he or she wants to study online. And the point that we have made is that all our colleague teachers who are teaching CS 101 in your college should inform their students to register like that on CS 101X, then get back to you and tell you what is the email ID they have used for such registration and what is their public username on the IIT Bombay X. And these two pieces of information you can ask some teaching assistant or somebody to collate for all students. That is the information which our teachers will be uploading on the dashboard that we are providing.
okay, sir.
When is your
Thank you, sir.
first year course starting, madam?
Coming Monday, sir. 28th, sir.
28th.
28th of this month.
Oh, I see. So when you start on 28th, that means the engagement with different batches may happen over 1 or 2 days. And I would request your colleague teachers to inform this immediately. Do you think it will be useful if I write down a small document as if you are addressing your student in your college? Then what all they should do?
Yes, sir.
Or a procedure,
Yes, sir.
what those students should be doing and what our colleague teachers should be doing. All
yes,
right.
sir.
Over the next 2 or
That
3
will be
days,
nice, sir.
yes, over the next 2 or 3 days, we will prepare
sir.
this document and put it on the
Okay.
Moodle so that all of you can see that. And in fact, you can react to it if you suggest any modifications. But I would only request that since you are starting on 28th, request all our colleague teachers to make this announcement as quickly as possible so that the students can register and enroll on CS 101X and you can upload their information. Of course, the first quiz is not going to be conducted on the online course till I think about August 15th or 16th. So we still have enough time to ensure, but the point is that there should not be delay because we want students to start looking at the online material as quickly as possible. That's all.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Okay, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much. There is a Banari Amman institution. Hello, good afternoon. Over to you. Sorry, I can't hear your audio.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
yes.
can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Okay, sir. Sir, from your speak, we have understood that students will be getting this video once after registering in the Moodle BMW course. Will there be any separate sessions for faculty and students, or the sessions will be common for faculty as well as for the students?
Okay. Good question. There still seems to be some confusion. Students will not get access to Moodle. Students will not get access to BMW course also. Students will get access only to CS 101X course, which is on IIT Bombay X. That is the students course. The Moodle and the BMW courses are workshop courses meant only for our teacher colleagues.
Okay, sir.
So there is a complete separation. What students see is CS 101X and what we all see will be the Moodle and the BMW workshop course. Now suppose you are teaching CS 101 in your college, then you want to know what students are seeing. To permit that, what we are going to do is, whatever is put onto CS 101X for students, the same material will also be put on the BMW course. So that teachers can see what students are seeing. In addition, all our teachers can see the previous offering of CS 101, all video lectures for all topics, all sample problems, everything in the form of the archived material, but that is available only on the BMW course, which is meant only for teachers. Students will not be able to see that. Okay, so that is one part. Second, the fortnightly interaction that we are talking about is an obligatory part of the IST workshop. It is also important that we interact like this to resolve any issues, whether they are operational issues that we are discussing now or actual course topic related discussions on how to teach, etc. That will happen every fortnight. In addition to these interactions, several people had requested that they would like their students also to interact. So, what we have agreed upon is that every fortnight there will be 1 hour interaction which is strictly between teachers, which is part of our workshop. Immediately thereafter, we will schedule an interaction which is meant for students also. Now, if you wish, you can ask your students to come to that session. That session should be coordinated by you teachers, where students can directly interact with us and with other students across the country. That is not an obligatory session. It depends upon the interest of the students and local teachers. But I was quite excited by it because many teachers would like to see that they are not alone in this experiment. There are students from other colleges also are participating. Is that all right?
We have one more.
Yeah, please
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Sir, we have one more question that as you were telling that if the student successfully completes this course, he will be getting a certificate.
Yes.
Is there any minimum grade point or any requirement that he should complete this much number of quizzes or tests or assignments?
Okay. So, there are two different things. One, you are now talking about the certificate for the online course. The online
Yes,
course
sir.
certificate is governed by the grading policy which is already announced in CS 101.1x. What I will do is, Nagesh, the grading policy should also be informed to our teachers. That grading policy defines various quizzes and assignments and how many marks each one will have. And if I recall correctly, any student scoring minimum 40% marks will get a pass grade which we call a D grade, and otherwise they will get a C grade or a B grade or a grade. No, it is A plus, A, B, C are the passing grades and F is the fail grade, whatever. But that information is there on the CS 101X. So, any student he registers there, what I will do, madam, is that I will get that grading policy for online course and put it on the Moodle as well, so all of you can see that. That will be clearly stated as grading policy for CS 101.1x. Okay. So, you know what students will get. However, that certificate is a certificate which is given by IIT Bombay X to them. What percentage of those marks you would like to factor in your own grading, that you have to decide.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, one more query is that
Yeah.
as the students are from first year, sometimes they may not be able to submit the assignments within a stipulated 1 hour or the given time by you. Will the students be given extra time to complete their assignment session or quizzes?
As far as online courses are concerned, all our quizzes run for a minimum 2 days. So, if a quiz is announced at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, it is due only on Thursday evening or Thursday night. They get full 2 days. So, they can work in the night, they can work next day, etc. They are signing an honor code, which means that they are saying that they will not cheat on their own, they will do it. Now, the fixed time thing was meant for the following. Some colleges, for example, your college says that look, instead of permitting students to do these online assignments at home whenever they want, we would like to supervise their online examination here in the college. Now, for that what we have stated is at 4 o'clock we will announce the quiz, and that same quiz can be taken by your students in your own labs under your supervision. Now, whether you want to give half an hour, whether you want to give 1 hour, or whether as normally happens you give 1 hour suppose, and some students say no, we take more time, you want to give 15 more minutes or even 1 more hour, is entirely up to you, madam. You will handle it exactly like you will handle in your college. We do not come into picture. We will only be conducting online quizzes and we will be giving you those marks. If you want to supervise the exams, online exams given by the students, you will have to maintain their attendance separately. All that we will be doing is, whatever marks they score, we will give those marks to you later. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
One question, what date does
Yes,
your
sir.
first year course start?
Sir, possibly by August 12th, sir.
Oh, August 12th. The
Yes,
BMS
sir.
college said they will start by August 5th. You are going to start even later, is it?
Yes, sir.
August.
Sir, August 3rd, students are coming on August 3rd. 1 week there will be a orientation program for that. The classes will commence by August 12th or 13th.
I see. May I request one thing, madam? Because
Yes,
this CS 101X course will be taken by all first year students, then during
Yes,
the
sir.
orientation program itself, on the 3rd August when the students come, if you please tell them
Yes, sir.
that please register on IIT Bombay X and enroll for CS 101X and start doing things online even during that week. And if we can request our colleague teachers who teach the programming course for first year students to collect the information of all the registered students ahead of time, it will save some time, that is all.
Sure, sir. Sure, we'll do it, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.